Hey guys, what's up and welcome to a new Tesla update video. So today, as usual, let's go over the market, go over Tesla, talk about what happened, what we can expect moving into the new year. Tomorrow is the final day of trading for 2022. What a wild year it has been. But yeah, let's just get right into it. As usual, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit that like button. Nothing I say is financial advice. Do your own research and make your own decisions. This is just purely for entertainment, and that is all. So, all that being said and done, guys, getting into it, Tesla, the market is, by the way, closing in just about 8 minutes, but Tesla ending the day up 8%, probably going to close the day just shy of 8%, but more or less 8%, putting us just shy of $122, which it feels weird because you're like, wow, we're up 8%. That's insane. Like, that's phenomenal. But we're still only at 122. You know what I mean? That's just how far Tesla has fallen, unfortunately. But all that being said and done, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about it. So as you can see on this I feel like doesn't deserve too much explanation, but in case you still want explanation, let's talk about what we see right here. So what do we see here? So you can see, you can argue this is a couple things, right? First and foremost, you can argue this is, in theory, potentially a bear little, pennant or wedge. Which again, usually they end up playing out to the bearish side. In this case, I don't think it will, obviously, because, based on just how it's moving, it still can. I don't think it will, though. And essentially, the best way to determine whether or not we will is essentially if we can go over, like, let's say 123 and start holding above 123, let's say tomorrow, that's going to be quite bullish. And Tesla is absolutely not done this rally just yet. Again, overall, I'm personally still expecting, like I said yesterday, like 150s. Honestly, give or take, that's kind of what I would like to see at least. Like, I would be disappointed if we don't get up to around 150, give or take a few points or whatever. And ideally, what I would personally would like to see is the top of this channel, yellow line, and this potential channel being tested, which, if it happens, let's say somewhere in the first week of January, maybe, it'll bring us close to 160. And if it happens in like maybe the second week of January, it'll be just over 150, right? So that's kind of roughly where I'm personally expecting things. I would be genuinely surprised if we actually go above this. You never know, we can. If we do break above this, that's quite bullish. Maybe we will, maybe we won't. Hard to say for sure at the very moment. You just kind of have to see how it, plays out once it gets there, assuming it gets there, which it should, in my opinion, but take it one step at a time. Now, all that being said and done, the first thing I'm looking at right now is this little kind of, situation that we find ourselves in right now. So like I said, you can either look at this as a potential bear wedge or, pennant, whatever, which in theory usually plays to the downside. In this case, I don't think it will. And I told you the level to look out for in case, you want to be kind of, watching that. Another thing you can look at this is a potential inverted head and shoulders, a very micro inverted head and shoulders. But, nonetheless, you can argue this is the left shoulder, this is the head, and this right here we're forming is essentially the right shoulder. Might potentially drop a little bit. Maybe tomorrow come down to maybe 120 again, drop a percent or two, kind of form the right shoulder, and then maybe the first day of New Year we completely rocket past this and break this quote unquote neckline right here, as you can see being the red line, which if we do, also being around that 123 level, would essentially validate this pattern. And we can expect a rally off of that moving forward, which usually you go from the bottom to the top of the neckline roughly, right? So if we go from, like, let's say we break out somewhere around here to the bottom of the head, which will be here, and let's say we break out somewhere around this level, that will bring us up to around 140, which is also quite possible as well. So that's essentially the two things I would personally be looking at as of right this very moment. I will draw this back just in case, because this is still not a level that you'd ideally want to break. If we break out of this right here, that would be pretty bad, right? So something else to keep in mind, of course. So if we ever fall, like tomorrow, let's say, or even like next week Monday or whatever, if we fall essentially below like 115, really make it simple, you'd want to see 114 hold and bounce up as fast as possible, and then kind of like what we did here. You can see, right, if you like zoom in, you can see how it kind of went all the way, then got slapped back down, kind of went up here, slapped back down. If something like this happens here, you want to see the same thing happen, just reverse, where you want to get it kind of sucked back up into here as fast as possible, which it can happen. We can potentially drop to 114. That's not completely out of the equation, in my opinion, and we'll see, of course, what happens with that if it does happen, essentially. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm seeing at the very moment, ladies and gentlemen. Other than that, and other than what I already said yesterday, there's not a whole lot to talk about, or to, I guess, add on as to what I've seen. You can see the RSI is really curling up. It is coming above the median, which is, overall not too bad. And another thing to notice is the fact that the RSI is already, even just off of today's move, already peaking its head higher than these lows over here, right? So it's already going past these lows, which is a pretty interesting sign, considering back when we made these lows back here, we were trading substantially higher. Like this one was trading at 177, and this low over here on the RSI was trading at like 200 essentially. We're at 121 and it's already peeking its head higher than those, which is interesting. So that's not a bad sign as well. This doesn't mean the bottom is in. This doesn't mean that it's all over. We can finally, dance and, be happy and whatever. Not at all, right? We can still absolutely go lower, and I actually personally wouldn't be surprised if we still go lower within the first, let's say, maybe half of next year or something like that. Definitely would not surprise me whatsoever. That is essentially more or less the overall major gist of what I am personally seeing as of right now. You can see we are bouncing off the red line of the Bollinger Band. So it wouldn't surprise me if we come up to potentially this white line, also happen to coincide with that 150 level, which I personally think at the very moment is the most important and the kind of the most major level to watch for Tesla to get to, hopefully, with this rally. And hopefully, fingers crossed, we can push above it. Another thing to look at is the 21 EMA, which is also pretty much at that 150 level. That's important to keep in mind as well. And another thing to keep in mind that's important is the 21 EMA. You can see we are actually above it on the 1 hour as of right now, which is overall, a pretty bullish thing. We had that before that obviously, ended up giving us a bit of a run. You can see, for instance, from here to here, right? Which ended up giving us about a 15% run, and now we are within the same area. However, you also can notice that before we have also crossed it here and ended up just being a massive fake out, right? So you want to essentially make sure we hold above it right now. You want to see a hold here as opposed to just collapsing right back under. So I think we'll get it. I do think we will get it. I did close my call pretty much as the market opened because I don't want to take any risks. Made about 35% on the call that I've got, which isn't too bad. I'll take it. Granted, it was a very small position, but hey, 35% is still 35%. But yeah, overall, guys, that's kind of the majority of what I am seeing at the very moment. So let me know what you think down below. The market's closing in about 2 minutes, so we can maybe kind of, wait it out to see where exactly we close as I talk about a couple of other things. For instance, let's take a look at SPY very quickly. You can see SPY is actually, interestingly enough, breaking, go ahead and fix that. It is breaking out actually, which is interesting to note. All right, we had this little downward, channel, if you will. You can make an argument that it was something like this, give or take. Maybe you can even make the argument of something like this. But nonetheless, we did break out of it to the north side as of right now, which is not too bad. That's not a bad start. You can also make the argument that same thing has happened with the QQQ. You can see right here, something like this, right? You can definitely make the argument that it has broken out of this potential downward trend as well. So it all happened on today's report. There was a report today, I think on jobs data, I believe this morning. And I think that's what made the market overall skyrocket. So Tesla severely outperforming the market, which is fantastic to see. I wouldn't say severely, but definitely outperforming the market by, a respectable amount for sure. But yeah, you can make the argument that the market is breaking out of a potential downtrend. So we'll see where this actually takes us and what this actually means for the market. Is this just an absolute massive bull trap? It very well could be, right? We'll see, of course, we'll see. But as of right now, guys, with the market closing in about 40 seconds, we're going to sit here, stall it out, see exactly where Tesla closes. I don't think it'll change anything what I said, to be completely honest. I think everything I said will stand regardless of where Tesla closes, because I can't imagine it being too much farther from where it is currently, right? Give or take that 8%-ish a little bit, right? So that's a good sign to see. And you can see I made this line back when I rejected here, and you can see we came right back up to it, and we're rejecting at it almost perfectly once again. So this is absolutely the temporary resistance that we need to break out and above for us to really find, potential actual rally past what we have already gotten. But yeah, all that being said and done, Tesla is going to be closing at pretty much 8%, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we closed at 8.08%, 121.82 cents. So there you have it, guys. Let me know what you think down below, and if you enjoyed the video, find it useful, informative, whatever, don't forget to hit that like button. Thank you so much for watching. See you tomorrow. Peace.